What a difference, okay? If you are struggling to get a signal in your home, all right? Well, let me just start by saying to you, when you do a deal with the cable company, right? They bring you a router, little black box, right? You know what it looks like. Those routers are basically your run-of-the-mill, everyday average router, okay? They're not gonna buy you the top-of-the-line router. You know, if they did, they'd probably charge you rent. In fact, if you look at some of the cable companies, they will promote a different router at your house if you're willing to pay more every month for it. Here's the deal with this. This is what I call a super router. If you have one of those homes where it's hard to get a signal, all right, or your signal's unreliable, you know, maybe your TV is tiling, maybe you're not getting a great Wi-Fi signal. Well, this is called the Nighthawk AX4200. This is one step above the one I have. Not only are you getting a way to extend the range of your router, but you are getting an omnidirectional antenna system that will move in any direction that you need to be able to get the best signal and give it out to whatever your electronics are. We are also giving you the extender. The extender also has two antenna on it, right? So that you can get the best range in your home. So one is going to improve and give you the best signal. The other is going to spread that signal over your entire home. Even if you have 4 stories, right? Maybe you don't get any good reception up in your finished attic because your router is down on the 2nd floor. Maybe your router's on the 3rd floor and you're not getting nothing down in your finished basement where you have your TV, your big color TV, all that, and you're not getting a great signal. I know it's not cheap. It's worth it. Try it till the end of January. If you don't get the best reception ever, you can always return it because we have extended returns. We dropped the price $70, all right? We lowered the shipping down to $550. We started the hour with about almost $700. Rob, my producer, said we have about $600, Rob? 540 hard quantity, that's what I have left. Let me introduce our special guest. He's gonna tell you how it works. And all you do is just connect it. Pull out your old router, a couple of plugs, you're good to go. Joe Harrison standing by. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Guy, you said, the couple things you said perfectly were you talked about power and you talked about range, because that's exactly what this thing will provide. So many of us get frustrated because you might have fast internet connection in one part of the house, but then you walk a couple rooms over and then you have these dead zones. Well, like Guy was showing you, have these antennas that are going to extend that range to make sure the entire house is covered. And then if you still have a nasty dead zone, we're including that bonus range extender. We'll talk about that too. But it's the speed. You buy a new tablet, you buy a new phone, you buy a new computer, you get a smart TV, you start adding all this stuff to your house, but your router can't keep up with it. The most common router in America is something called Wireless G. It's designed to stream to one thing at a time. That's technology that's now 8 years old. This is designed to connect to up to 25 devices because this is the brand new Wireless 6. Just came out, so we're not talking one thing at a time. Now we're talking dozens of things at a time because you have the latest technology. And Guy, when you think about it, you probably got your first router. It was probably 8, 9, 10 years ago. And at the time, all you had was maybe a computer. Maybe you had 2 computers. But now when you think about like my house, we have a family of 4. There's 4 of us. We each have a computer. We each have a cell phone. We each have a tablet. Just there alone, that's 12 different devices. And if my router can only connect to one at a time, when I'm watching something, then my kids get online, then the router goes so slow. This is designed to be able to connect to now up to 25 devices at the same time with no speed issues. But then, Guy, it is the speed. Because you're buying this new technology, you want it to be fast in your house, because all these devices, they run off the speed of the internet. So this is now, check this out, 77 times faster than the most common router in America. Wow. 77 times the speed. So imagine if you're downloading something and it takes you maybe 77 seconds to do it, this will do it in 1 second. It's really like walking versus riding in a sports car. So when you see this technology, it is designed to not only give you the speed, but it also has something new called beamforming. And I love this because we're never stationary in our house. You might connect to the internet, but you're sitting on the couch or you're in the kitchen. But then what happens when you start to move around? Well, the old routers, they just send out the signal in a circle. You walk out of that circle, you lose the signal. But this, with those multiple antennas, when it sees those devices that are connected, it now stays connected. And it sends a beam to it to make sure that when you're walking around the house, you don't lose your signal. So going back to why do you buy this? You don't buy this because it's the cheapest router and you just want to get internet. This is what performance has meant. It's not only 77 times faster, but it gives you now the range with all the antennas, Guy, that any room in your house, you're going to have that high-speed internet connection.
Joe, the router that the cable company gives you, it doesn't even have an antenna on it. It's just a box.
It doesn't.
It's just a box.
I got it.
You know, Joe, you remember? Yeah, there it is.
This is it. Most common router in America. Where's the antenna?
There's
the antenna's buried inside.
Joe, you remember when we were kids, right? And when we wanted to get better reception on the TV, Dad would go buy a new antenna, right? He'd buy a bigger one. He would put, poor son of a gun would be up there on the roof, and he'd be taking that other one down, and he'd be playing with the thing. Because that's how you get a signal. That's how you send a signal, and that's how you receive a signal. So if you have a router that's just a box, how are you really doing that? It's basically doing a job. And I love your point, Joe, that we do so much more than we did 10, 20 years ago, right? We have so many more devices. We have multiple devices inside our home, right? I mean, look at me. I only got me and Danny, and he's not even there half the time. He actually gets home from school today, which is nice. But when he gets home, now we got my tablet, we got my computer, we got my phone, we got my TVs. Danny's got his Xbox, he's got his TV, he's got his phone, he's got his MacBook, he's got all these things. Now, that's just two people. We've got like 10 devices between the two of us. And I will tell you, before I went to the super router, there'd be times where Danny would be like, I'd hear him in the background, saying bad words. I'd be like, what's going on? You getting a signal? I ain't getting no signal. He's all upset. I'm like, it's back when we had our crappy router, So if you want to upgrade it, and by the way, Joe, you got to admit, this is not a cheap item, but it's worth it. I mean, you're going to have this forever.
Oh, exactly right. Especially when, a lot of us get frustrated when we have a device. Like say you have an older tablet and then you bring a newer tablet into the house. Well, the internet doesn't get any faster because the internet goes through your router. Your router is limited. It really limits how fast the internet can be. And this is now up to 4,200 megabytes of speed. The most common router in America is only 54 megabytes. That's why this is 77 times faster, because this can handle up to 4,200 megabytes. Like miles an hour of a car, you're going leaps and bounds over that old technology. But let me show you how simple this is. This is probably what your old setup looks like. You have a box, a wire that comes out of the wall that feeds into what they call a modem. This unscrambles the signal so you can get wireless access to your house. But then it plugs into a router. And like we mentioned, this is the most common router in America. It's wireless G. It's 8 years old. It was great 8 years ago, but 8 years, a lot of stuff has changed. All you have to do is you unplug that cable that's in the back, and on the back of your Nighthawk, there is a little yellow connector. So you plug in that yellow connector. That's it. You have physically upgraded yourself. That's all you need to do. Now, the next thing you need to do is look for this card. There's 3 steps to set this up. You don't need to call the cable company. You don't need to have someone come out to the house. Step 1 is you download the app. It works for Android. It works for Apple. Step 2 is you are now naming your router. You're creating a password, and you're also setting up with the Netgear Armor, which gives you security to your router, because you don't want people to have free access to your router. After that, guy, you're done. It's really as simple as 1, 2, 3, and you've got it. Now, I'm a parent. You also have parental controls on here. If you want to limit how long your kids' computers can be online, their phones can be online, you can put limitations to that as well. The app is fantastic, but it is 3 steps. That's all you need. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you can call these guys right here. They will answer it, and that is exclusive to HSN. You only get that service. And Netgear is the #1 router company in America, and they're only providing this extra layer of service just for HSN customers only. Now, when you get this router set up, you are going to instantly see the speed so quick, so fast. However, the more walls you have, the more metal you have in your house, there are dead zones in your house. That's why we're including this bonus range extender. So we sometimes have sold this for $70, $80. Now what this does is it plugs into your wall and it'll instantly connect to your router, and now it sends an enhanced signal to that room. It could be down in your basement. It could be maybe to your porch. It could be maybe to your bedroom. We always have those dead spots. Kitchens are horrible too, because you have so much metal in the oven, the stove, the microwave. That kills the Wi-Fi signal. But all I have to do, guys, I can plug this into the wall, and now I extend that range. So it really is that 1-2 punch. This is giving you the power. This is giving you the range. It'll give you the best internet that you've ever had in your home.
It's a great gift to give to. If you got techies in your house and you want to get them something cool, they would or you want to give this to your kids because they're always complaining they live somewhere and they don't get a good signal. they will love it. And I love the fact that you got 6 weeks to try it out. If it doesn't work for you, which I know it will in almost every case, if it doesn't work for you, you may live in the mountains somewhere where it's tough, but if it doesn't work, you just return it, all right? That's what's wonderful about extended return. So, $70 off. If you want to get it for $174.99, get a brand new HSN credit card. We'll put $40 in your account, and you can use that on this purchase. The shipping was $12. I think it's down to like $3 or $4 now. We lowered the shipping so everybody could get it. I only had about 600. I got maybe 400 or 500 remaining. I know this is a considered purchase, but you know what? When you think about all the electronics, Joe, that we have in our house, and all the things that we need to power up and keep running smoothly.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about what people pay for a cell phone, I said to Lori, $1,000 just for a phone. Your TV,
yeah.
$1,500. Your laptop, you got one like me or my son, you spent $1,200, $1,300 on a MacBook. You want to make sure you can utilize it in your own home. This is the next step to being able to do that, Joe.
100%, and because it's Wi-Fi 6, this is not connecting to one device at a time. This can actually connect to up to 25 devices at a time. So now when your kids are online and you're online, nobody's having buffering or slowdown issues. And for a lot of us, we're streaming our movies, we're streaming our content from Netflix and from Hulu and from Disney Plus. And if you're trying to watch something, then your spouse is watching something, a lot of times you get these horrible delays. But because you can stream now up to 25 times fast, or 25 devices at the same time, that's what makes a difference. The other thing is that speed. This is what they call 5,400 megabytes of speed, kind of like miles an hour of a car. The most common speed in America is 54. This is 4,200, now 77 times faster internet connections. And that makes a world of difference because this is what controls the internet in your house. You might have, say you have an iPad that's from a few years ago. Well, the iPad still runs through here. Now, if you get a new iPad's still going to go through here. It's not like the iPad is going to speed up the internet. This is what speeds up the internet for you. So when you get these new devices, especially around the holiday season, guy, we're getting light bulbs, we're getting doorbells, we're getting TVs, we're getting all these things into our house. We keep adding more and more electronics, but when was the last time you upgraded your router? If you get this today, because this truly is the latest technology in that Wi-Fi 6, you are set for years with not only at faster speed, but now up to 25 devices can now connect at the same time. And also because it's Netgear, there's so many viruses that now come through routers. There's actually something called Netgear Armor. It's a free service. You sign up when you first log on to it, but it's going to protect all your devices from now getting viruses as well. So not only you get the speed, you get the range on here, but now we're also protecting you from those harmful viruses. Guys, just a simple thing to add to your house that's really going to speed up everything.
Joe, if you just like to look at my house, okay, here you go, you ready? Yeah. My phone is $1,200. Danny's phone was $1,000. Okay, so you're at $2,200. Both our TVs, another $1,500. So now you're getting close to $4,000. Not to mention all the other stuff that we have in our house. You're at $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 worth of electronics, and you're using a router that probably costs $50. All right?
Exactly.
And the router is the key to all those things working smoothly and properly and fast. I mean, this is amazing.